Hello, so this is Professor V. Purnachandra Reddy. So today I will discuss about, I will be teaching signal system for GATE 2021. So today this is lecture 1. So first I will start with the syllabus overview for GATE 2021 signals and systems. So the syllabus includes signals and systems basics. Then in signals and system basics we will see basics of signals and also classification of signals. Then we will see system, classification of systems and properties of systems, and also we will see LTI systems here. So then we move on to Fourier series. In Fourier series we will discuss continuous and Fourier series and also discrete and Fourier series. Then we move on to Fourier transforms. In Fourier transforms we will discuss about continuous and Fourier transforms and discrete and Fourier transforms. Then slowly we move on to Laplace transform. Then after looking at Laplace transform we move on to jet transforms. Afterwards we will see sampling rhythm. So sampling rhythm for balanced signals, there we will see three conditions. And we will move on to FIR and IR filters. FIR is finite impulse response, IIR is infinite impulse response. Then we move on to discrete time Fourier transform. In that we will also discuss fast Fourier transforms. So then so these are the textbooks preferred for these signals and systems. Those are signals and systems by Alan B. Oppenheim. Second one, linear systems and signals by D. Wheeler. So this is the overview of the syllabus for signals and systems for GATE. Okay. So now we will start with the signals and system basics. In signals and systems basics, first we start with what is signal and what is system. Then we will see what is the basic classification of signals. So the basic classification of signals includes continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So before going to that, first we will see what is signal definition. So signal is a information bearing physical quantity which depends on one or more variables. Okay. So here we will study signal in both two domains. One is time domain, other one is frequency domain. Okay. So next we will see classification of systems. So the basic classification of signals is first one, continuous time signal. Second one, discrete time signal. So first we will see what is continuous time signal. The signal which is continuous in time and continuous in amplitude is said to be continuous time signal. Okay. So discrete time signal, the signal which is discrete in time, continuous in amplitude. So next we will see example for continuous time signal and also we will see example for discrete time signal. So here X is T, here it is X of T. Here T is called as independent variable, X of T is dependent. Okay. So since X, so it is continuous in time, continuous in amplitude. So continuous time signal defined for all values of time axis. What is meant by all values of time axis means? So it is defined with t is equal to 0.0001, t is equal to 0.0001 also, t is equal to 0.01. So between this range, it is defined for infinite number of t values. Okay. So that's why I am saying continuous in time. So moreover, if the signal is continuous time signal, the time axis, which is defined from minus infinity to plus infinity, is equivalent to real line. Why I am saying it is equivalent to real line? Because it includes all numbers like natural numbers, integers, all those things. So that's why I am saying in continuous time signals, the time axis is equivalent to real line, or you can say real numbers. Okay. When it comes to discrete time signal, So already I said what is discrete time signal? The signal which is discrete in time but continuous in amplitude. Then how to get discrete time signal from continuous time signal? So by using sampling we get discrete time signal from continuous time signal. So we will see in detail about sampling in future videos. So first we will see what is discrete time signal. Example. So this is the example for discrete time signal. So it is defined only for integer values of time axis. So why I am saying integer means 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here time axis is represented with small n. So here this is x of n. So here time axis is indicated with t. It is x of t. Here it is n x of n. Here time axis is equivalent to real line. Here time axis is equivalent to integers. Why? Because discrete time signal is only defined for integer values of time axis. Okay, this is the basic difference between continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So which is continuous in time, continuous in amplitude, that is continuous time signal. Which is discrete in time but continuous in amplitude, that is discrete time signal. Okay. So next we will see representation of signals. Representation of signals. So we can represent signal, any signal in two ways. One is mathematical form, or we can say mathematical representation. The other name for mathematical representation is functional representation. Mathematical or functional representation. So this is first form of representing signal. Second one is graphical, or you can say diagrammatic representation. Okay, we can represent signals in two ways. First one is mathematical representation, second one is graphical or diagrammatic representation. Okay, now we will see one example for these two representations. So the signal may be continuous time signal or discrete time signal. Any signal can be represented in terms of mathematical and graphical representation. We will see example. So this is time axis t, this is x of t. So this is the graphical representation of signal x of t. Now we will see for this graphical representation, mathematical representation. So x of t is equal to, this is different from minus 1 to plus 1. From minus 1 to plus 1, what is the magnitude here? Here the magnitude is 1. So this is 1 for minus 1 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 1, 0 otherwise. So this representation is known as mathematical representation. This representation is graphical representation. So this is example for representation of signals. Moreover, this is continuous time. Why? Because the independent variable is t. This is x of t. That's why we can say the given signal is continuous time signal. Similarly, we will see example for discrete time signal. X of n is equal to 1 minus 1, 1. We can say 2 arrow. So this arrow represents origin, which means n is equal to 0. Independent variable n is equal to 0. So this is the mathematical form. Now for this we will see how to learn graphical form. So this is n equal to 0. If you move towards right, this is n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, this is n is equal to minus 1. At n is equal to 0, the value is minus 1. At n is equal to 1, the value is 1. At n is equal to 2, the value is 2. At n is equal to minus 1, the value is 1. Now we have to solve that. X of n, the independent variable is n. So n is equal to 0. What is the value here? The value is minus 1. So n is equal to 1. What is the value? 1. N is equal to 2. What is the value here? 2. And also n is equal to minus 1. The value is equal to 1. Okay. So this is how we have to represent discrete time signal in mathematical form and also in graphical form. So next we will see. So this is about representation of signals, mathematical and graphical form. Next we will see basic operations of signals. Okay. Basic operations of signals. So what are the basic operations you studied in mathematics? What are the basic operations? Basic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, integration, differentiation. Similarly, for signals also we are having signals addition. You can subtract two signals, that is signals subtraction. Next one, you can multiply signals, that is multiplication of signals. Next one is magnitude or amplitude scaling. Magnitude or amplitude scaling. Next one, you can differentiate signal. Similarly, you can also integrate signal. So we will study these four operations now itself. Then we will study these two operations once we study basic signals like step signal, ramp signal, impulse signal. First we will see how to add two signals. Then by considering one example, we will discuss these four: addition, subtraction of signals, multiplication of signals, and magnitude or amplitude scaling of signal. So let us consider two signals. This is x1 of t, and one more signal. This is from 0 to 2, the magnitude is 1. This is x2 of t. Time axis, here also time axis. All of these two signals are continuous time signals. How you can say these two continuous time signals? The time axis is t, small t. Now we will add these two signals, x1 of t plus x2 of t. How do we add these two signals? We have to add magnitudes corresponding to the intervals. Okay, what are the intervals? From minus infinity to minus 1, here the magnitude is 0. Here also minus infinity to minus 1, the magnitude is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. From minus infinity to minus 1, the magnitude is 0. Okay, from minus 1 to 0, what is the magnitude here? 1. What is the magnitude here? 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. From minus 1 to 0, the magnitude is 1 here. Now, if you see from 0 to 1, here the magnitude is 1. Here also 0 to 1, the magnitude is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's why from 0 to 1, the magnitude is 2. Here, if you consider from 1 to 2, what is the magnitude here? 0. What is the magnitude here? 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. So 1 to 2, the magnitude is 1. From 2, so here from 2 onwards till infinity, the magnitude is 0. Here also from 2 to infinity, the magnitude is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. So this is how we have to add two signals. Means we are adding magnitudes corresponding to the intervals. Okay. So this is signal addition. Next we will see signal subtraction. x1 of t minus x2 of t. Here we have to subtract magnitudes corresponding to the intervals. Okay, so here if you see from -1 to 0, what is the magnitude here? 1. From -1 to 0, what is the magnitude here? 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. From -1 to 0, the magnitude is 1. Now if you see from 0 to 1, what is the magnitude here? 1. Here also magnitude is 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, but if you consider from 1 to 2, here the magnitude is 0. 1 to 2, what is the magnitude here? 1. So 0 minus 1 gives you minus 1. Okay, from 2 onwards, here the magnitude is 0, here also magnitude is 0, that's why the signal is 0 from 2 to infinity. So that's why, so from -1 to 0, the magnitude is 1 here. From 0 to 1, the magnitude is 0 here. From 1 to 2, the magnitude is -1 here. So this is about subtraction of two signals. Next we will see how to multiply two signals. Multiplication of two signals. So here we have to multiply magnitudes corresponding to the intervals. Okay, from -1 to 0, what is the magnitude here? 1. From -1 to 0, what is the magnitude here? 0. 1 into 0 is 0. So from -1 to 0, the magnitude is 0. Next, 0 to 1, what is the magnitude here? 1. From 0 to 1, what is the magnitude here? 1. 1 into 1 is 1. From 0 to 1, the magnitude is 1. So here you see from 1 to 2, what is the magnitude here? 0. What is the magnitude here? 1. So 0 into 1 is 0 again. Okay, 2 to infinity, what is the magnitude here? 0. Here also it is 0. That's why 0 into 0 is 0. So this is the x1 of t multiplied with x2 of t. So from -infinity to 0, the value is 0. From 0 to 1, the value is 1. From 1 to infinity, the value is 0. Value is nothing but magnitude. Okay, so for multiplication, what we did? We multiply magnitudes corresponding to the intervals. Okay, next we will see what is magnitude or amplitude scaling. So magnitude scaling and amplitude scaling, we multiply signal with some constant. If we multiply x1 of t with 2, what is x1 of t? It is from -1 to +1, the magnitude is 1. So since we are multiplying with 2, the magnitude becomes 2. So in x1 of t, from -1 to 1, the magnitude is 1. In 2 into x1 of t, from -1 to 1, the magnitude is 2 here. Why? Because we multiply with 2. Suppose if the multiplication constant is -1, what happens? We will see. So that is minus x1 of t. Okay, here we multiply with 2, that's why from -1 to 1, the magnitude is 2. Now we are going to multiply with -1. Here the scaling factor is -1. What happens to this one? This becomes -1 to 1. Here the magnitude is 1, but here the magnitude is -1. So this is also called as magnitude reversal. Okay, so here it is x1 of t, here it is minus x1 of t. This operation is called as, if the scaling factor is -1, that is also called as magnitude reversal or amplitude reversal. Okay, so these are the 4 basic operations related to signals. This is signal addition, here it is signal subtraction, next one is signals multiplication, last one is magnitude or amplitude scaling. Okay, if the scaling factor is -1, this is also called as magnitude or amplitude reversal. Okay, so we will discuss these 2 operations once we study basic signals. What are the basic signals? Like step signal, ramp signal, impulse signal. Okay, so next we move on to basic signals. So before going to basic signals, first we will see what are the time operations. So these 4 operations they belongs to amplitude. Next we will see time operations. What are the time operations? All of you might be knowing. What are the time operations? Time operations are time shifting, time scaling, and time reversal. So we'll see in detail about time operations. Time operations. So till now we have seen 4 basic operations. They belongs to magnitude of the signals. Okay. Here these time operations belongs to time axis. First one is time shifting. Second one is time scaling. Third one is time reversal. All these 3 operations belongs to time axis. So first we will see time shifting. In time shifting we are having 2 operations again. One is time delay and time advance. In time scaling we will be having time expansion and time compression. Time reversal means for time reversal we have to keep mirror on y-axis. Once we keep mirror on y-axis we will get the time reversal version of the given signal. First we will see time shifting in detail. So before discussing about time shifting, I will give some real-time example for this time shifting. So that is, so let us consider 2 cities. That is from Vijayawada, other one is Hyderabad. So suppose you are traveling from Vijayawada to Hyderabad. Okay, the traveling duration let us consider 6 hours. Okay, you are traveling from Vijayawada to Hyderabad. The traveling duration is 6 hours. Suppose you are starting at 6 a.m. in the morning. You will reach by 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Suppose the bus or flight is delayed by 1 hour. Then what happens to this source point? The bus will start at 7 a.m. Now here we have to consider one thing. The travel duration remains same. Then at what time we will reach by 1 p.m. So here the thing we have to consider is the travel duration remains same. So here the bus is delayed by 1 hour, which means what happens? We have to add delay amount to the original amount. What is the delay amount here? 1 hour. Okay, what is the original amount here? 6 a.m. For that we have to add 1 more hour. Okay, so we are starting at 7, we will be reached by 1. Here also 1 hour delay. Here at source 1 hour delay, at destination also 1 hour delay. So this is called as time delay. Okay, for time delay what we have to do? We have to add delay amount to the original amount.